This is lesson 12, the random number generator. You can find the code on the website projectfpga.com/tcp. Select the random wait period. This is the code. So sorry, this is the code, the verilog code. I'm going to implement it on this logic sim. So what this circuit does, this is the circuit that generates the random waiting period for the transmitter whenever there is a collision. So whenever there is a collision, we know that we are going to be in what we call the state jam. That is, this state jam is going to come on. So the state jam cure first of all comes on the next cycle. The state jam comes on, and that is when we get the random number. The random number is stored into this RAM 10, whenever there is a collision. So what actually determines the random number is this retry count. So whenever there is a collision, the retry count keeps increasing. It tries to retry. When there is a collision, it waits for a random period, it retries. So whenever it retries, this retry count increments. If it retries and then another collision occurs again, it waits again, retries again, this retry count increments. So the more it tries to transmit and a collision occurs, the more the retry count increases. And whenever the retry count increases, this comparator checks to know, compares it to know how many is it, and the more the retry count, the more AND gate is going to be turned on, and the more the waiting period is going to be on. So let's assume this is on. So the random number is going to come from here. This is where it finally comes and goes into this RAM 10, comes through here, and from here this is where it comes from, and this comes from this AND gates here. So how does this AND gates work hand in hand to produce this random number? It has to do with this retry count. The retry count determines how many AND gates is going to turn on. So if it turns one AND gate on, it means it's going to wait for a smaller number of time. So this XOR gate is what does the random number generator. XOR is very good in generating random numbers. So here arbitrarily RAM 2 pin signal 2 and 9 is randomly choosing just to generate the random number with this XOR. So whenever is XOR RAM pin 2 and pin 9, the random number goes into this RAM 10. So it's more like a shift rate. It keeps shifting them randomly. That is how the random number comes about. Once you shift them, it brings them out back and pulls them into this AND gate here. So it depends on the retry count determines how many AND gates is going to be turned on, depending on how many retries it has done. So the more the retry, assuming is greater than 9, it means all these AND gates is going to be turned on, and it's going to generate a huge value, a huge waiting period that is going to be stored here. So but assuming is 1, that means only one of these AND gates is going to be turned on, and it's going to generate a very small waiting period. So that is how this retry count works. So assuming there is no more collision, this retry count is 0 and all the AND gates are completely shut off, and at that point this random number is equal to 0 because it compares what is inside this RAM with this 0 here. So that is when the collision have ended, retry count goes back to 0. So this retry count is the major determinant here. Whenever it's 0, the random number is equal to 0. So that is how the random number is being generated. Go through the code and you understand more. So there's also this random equals byte count. It compares it with the byte count. If it's 1, it checks it with the neighbor count. We are going to use this bit random equal byte count very soon. So I will elaborate more on it at that point. But just know this is typically how the random number generator works. Thanks. Subscribe to my channel, please.